Welcome to the SDFC Fancast, the podcast where average Joes discuss America's finest city's newest addition to the MLS, San Diego Football Club, with your host, Nathan Parada, featuring Keegan, Devlin, Colin Thomas, and Chris Thomas, and of course the man who holds it all together, producer Trevor. Let's do this.
Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of the San Diego FC Fancast, the officially unofficial San Diego FC Fancast.
Woo! Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so we got Colin, please introduce yourself.
I'm Colin.
We got Chris, introduce yourself.
I'm Chris.
We got Keegan, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Keegan.
And we got producer Trev, who isn't on screen.
If I speak, I am in big trouble.
No, so this is for everyone, since this is the first episode, this is a podcast about mainly San Diego FC, the new MLS team in San Diego that we all have been waiting for. But we're kind of, right now, it is the MLS offseason, so San Diego FC will be playing in the MLS, which is the top league of soccer in the U.S. We've just signed one new player who's a native. His name is Duran Ferree. He's only 17 years old, already played for the U.S. under-17s team. He actually came from a previous iteration of a professional soccer team in San Diego, the Loyal. They were part of the second tier of soccer in the U.S., but they ceased to exist in 2023, pretty much to make room for this new MLS team that came through. So it's nice to see, somebody local, somebody that's already played for a professional San Diego team, and such young talent coming through as our first signing.
Yeah, they had a good article kind of that broke him down, and they had some cool stuff on him. Obviously he's young, but he grew up in San Diego. He played for the Loyal, but then he also played 5 times for the under-17 national team. Even started their CONCACAF qualifier against Guatemala, which is pretty sweet. So he already, for being young, he's got good experience.
But his contract, he signed through 2027 with a 1-year option to extend at the end. And I'm pretty sure he's on loan right now because there's obviously a gap. It's barely 2024 at the moment. So there'll be a whole nother MLS season without San Diego FC playing for us to build a team and all that. So
yeah, I heard he's gonna get loaned out. I'd be curious to see where he goes, whether domestically or internationally. It'd be cool to see where he ends up.
And if he played for the Loyal, he must be known in the the USL, the league below the MLS. So I got to imagine he's being scouted already by those types of teams at the minimum. But we're gathering this information off of a couple spots online on San Diego FC's website, as well as there was a good interview on CBS with the CEO of San Diego FC. And he used to be the CEO of LAFC, which has gotten very quick success in MLS as an expansion team. They've only been around for 4 years, I think, something like that. They already won an MLS Cup and been in another final. I'm excited that, and then I'll put his name in here, Tom something. What's his name? Tom something? I'm excited to have someone with sports and MLS and soccer experience as the CEO. But did you guys watch the interview?
Yeah, I watched it a couple times. It was super. It was interesting.
Anything stand out in particular to you, Colin?
The Right to Dream Foundation I thought was pretty sweet, and I know there was quite a few things that he touched on, but I don't know. I just found that pretty fascinating, not really knowing much about it, and then kind of diving into it a little bit. It's just sort of a pretty cool foundation that they did 20 years ago, and just that seems like where we're going to be getting the majority of our talent. On top of also what I thought was cool, how he talked about scouting. How our region is we can go a little bit into Mexico, then we can have our county, and then we can go a little bit up into Riverside, and that's just for like under 14, and then we're after 14, we're able to like scout like nationally. But up until then, we had to scout just purely from like San Diego and that part of town. I just thought those couple things were pretty sweet and interesting.
We had to sign local players, or native players as they called them, right, from the area for the time being. But I think after 24, we're good to sign anybody at the moment, I believe.
But as far as like the scouting, or not scouting, but like the development, rather.
Development,
yeah.
But actually was founded by Tom Vernon, who was the head scout for Africa, the African region for Manchester United for a while. So it's headquartered in Ghana. That's where it's based out of. And actually, one significant player that we watch regularly, since we watch the Premier League, is Mohamed Kudus came from the Right to Dream Academy.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He's probably the biggest name, right? That's came out of there.
I would say so. I mean, he's starting for West Ham regularly right now and scoring a bunch of goals. He's on loan from Ajax, so yeah, I would say he's probably the biggest name at the moment. But if talent like that is coming through their academies, then yeah, that's an exciting thing. And not only that, I mean, that's such a broad. There's the fourth academy is being built right now, and that's actually being built in San Diego. So I think that's only something that's going to grow. They have one of the people that owns one of the co-owners of San Diego FC also has a big stake in the Right to Dream and owns other soccer teams, one in Egypt, which is actually FC Tut. It's Tutankhamun Football Club. So that's pretty cool. Okay. That's a cool name. So the owner, Mansour, from the Mansour Group, who owns San Diego FC, co-owns it. He owns other soccer teams, and one of them is literally King Tut Football Club. And I just learned that today, and I thought that was amazing.
Hey, Nate, how do you feel about people who don't wear socks when they're wearing a suit?
It's actually it's pretty much my favorite thing to do in fashion. No, I think I genuinely think it's one of the biggest fashion faux pas you can do.
So to give some context, in the interview with the CEO, the interviewer, who did a fantastic job, by the way, if you hear this, we love you. Lord knows you're awesome. But he didn't wear any socks, and he was wearing a suit, and Nate was not a fan of the look.
Well, he wore those socks that you can't see. So it's just literally, it's shoe, flesh, and then pant, and it's just not that. When is that? What are you, Tom Sawyer? What, your Tom Sawyer pants? I don't understand. Like, are you wearing capris? Is that where we're going to get to? You're just going to fucking wear capris? I don't know. Drives me crazy.
It was like this much flesh. It wasn't like a little bit. It's like half his leg is. Yeah.
And they're saying duels and bringing their legs up, so they make it way worse than it had to be.
If he was a female in the 50s on the beach, he would have gotten arrested, and it was egregious.
Yeah, easily. I mean, he should have been arrested anyway. His good question saved him. That was it.
But another cool part about the Right to Dream thing is it's not just about bringing in soccer talent. It's about education. It's private schooling for young boys, and it really gives them an opportunity, and girls as well. I don't think girls get a private school, but there is a girls' academy as well.
They started one in 2013.
What's that?
They started the girls' academy in 2013.
Give them the best training, education. We'll have a school.
What he said.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And even if they don't propel into professional soccer, it gives them a great opportunity to get scholarships at colleges and stuff like that. So it's a really, really cool program right in our backyard too. So it's awesome.
And I had brought up the Mansour Group, which is run by an Egyptian billionaire. His last name is Mansour. So one of the other owners is the Sequan band of Indians here in San Diego, and so that fourth academy that I brought up is actually being built there on the reservation. So that's just mentioned locally. So there's they're going to help educate the local native kids, which is nice.
That's great. Yeah, and to touch on Chris and Colin's points, how they're scouting in Mexico as well. It's cool that even kids there who, could have a chance to play pro soccer, but then they'll have the ability to come to the U.S., go to school here, play soccer here, and yeah, get an education, and then, it'll help them for their whole lives. So it's good for the team overall. Hopefully we get some really good players that come from all over, at least Southern California, but I think it'll be good long term for the club as a whole.
Absolutely. And I mean, it just helps to grow soccer in the U.S. and bring that talent through and all that. Just like any other sport, that's one of the good things about, professional sports in general is, if you don't feel like you have a lot of options, sometimes sports are a way out of a bad situation. Pretty rare, but sometimes it works, But no, the interview was great. One of the things, though, that I was a little dubious about is they kind of gloss over the fact that it's incredibly sunny at Snapdragon Stadium. So Snapdragon Stadium is going to be the home stadium of San Diego FC, and it's right there in Mission Valley in San Diego, which is wonderful. And I've seen FC Wave game there and a U.S. national team game there, and both were really great. Soccer specific. So the field is kind of sunken in. You feel like you're real close, and there's not any bad seats for the soccer side of it. But after saying that, Chris and I were there for the U.S. versus Panama in the Gold Cup, and at about 7:20 at night, in the east side of the stands, the sun was still baking everybody, and it would have been really uncomfortable to be sitting there and watching a game. And so that's brought up in the interview a little bit. And the CEO says that we have, most of our games are going to be at night, which those start at 7:30. Like right now in the MLS schedule, LAFC, when they have a night game, it starts at 7:30. So the game starts at 7:30. I guess it wouldn't be horrible, but in the summer or, June, July, those months, the sun is still going to be hitting right there. So the shade thing was brought up in the interview. And I did not really like that it was kind of glossed over, because I do think that will be an issue going forward.
Yeah, so Keegan and producer Trevor and I and Colin as well went to the Wrexham match when they were here in town, and it wasn't too bad because the sun was kind of setting as we were sitting there. But they're actually renting the stadium from SDSU, San Diego State. And their games start at like 1 p.m. sometimes, and there's been like multiple in the middle of summer. There's been multiple like heat related emergencies, and it's a disaster when the games don't start at 7 at night. Like it's fine if you're sitting in the sun for a half an hour or so, but if you're baking, if there's like a 4 p.m. cup game or something like that, or God forbid a 1 p.m. cup game, it will be a nightmare for sure. And the CEO just really kind of glossed over it. They're not concerned, but I think it'll probably become an issue eventually.
I think so, and I saw an article that it was brought up for SDSU, as you mentioned, Chris, with the heat issues, and there was a game where the field was like 110 degrees, and it was, that's a problem if that's happening over and over again.
SDSU's first game when they opened the stadium, they had to cart off in the ambulance like a dozen people for heat stroke. And like players were going down, so it's a nightmare.
And they literally said, as the head of athletics at SDSU said, they didn't do it because it wasn't cost effective enough, because it would cost $50 million. So it's too expensive. In the future, if there's issues, just remember, everybody, it's just a little too expensive, That and the socks or lack thereof were the only things. The only kind of bad pieces. It was on the whole very positive, and I liked most of the stuff. But no, we just had to kind of throw that in there, just to be totally candid.
Yeah.
One side note I got, just as we're talking about filling the team, they're starting to do interviews, signing people. I just saw that they're saying they're hoping to get third of the team filled. Hopefully a third of the roster in the first half of this year. Now that's 2024. So hopefully we'll start seeing some news. What MLS season starts in February. Granted, obviously we're not in it this year, but hopefully we'll sign some probably younger guys first, but hopefully we get some decent players who maybe are going to commit after this next MLS season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that looks like for players that are currently on other teams that will be, moving on to our team the following season. That's a very interesting situation. Curious to see
it'll be
that.
fun to
CEO,
it'll be
the
fun to watch.
CEO did say I'm sorry, Nate, but that he wanted we're going to spend money on big signings. Like he kind of said that specifically that they're going to get a big signing, which we'll see what that means.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people that I would be on the wish list, of course. But no, to your point, Chris, it's going to be fun watching other MLS teams and be like, I want that player, and I want building a fake team in your head, and all that stuff. Watching this season, the 2024 season, I think that'll be fun as well. But speaking of MLS signings, Hugo Lloris, I guess he's still Tottenham's goalie. How many games was there for 11 years, 2012 to 2023. This
Wow.
is going to LAFC, World Cup winner. What do you guys think about that sign? It's a 1-year deal with a possible extension of a second year.
I mean, he's okay. It's cool. I mean, he'll sell a lot of kits, and he's a big name. Like, I get it. And if I was a LAFC fan, I'd buy a kit. You know what I mean, of his. So he'll put butts in the seats, I'm sure, but it's really not it's an aging keeper.
Exactly. I'm of the same opinion. I think that's exactly. I don't know. That seems to be it. It almost seems like they want to make a billboard that says we have a World Cup winner on our team. That's the only thing I can really imagine because
not to be a contrarian, but I mean, I don't know a ton about their current keeper, but I've heard he's pretty solid. But having that a champion of that caliber in your clubhouse or locker room or whatever, I mean, that says a lot. It goes a long way, at least in other sports like the NFL and baseball and basketball. Having that level of experience can be a huge factor in the clubhouse.
This is true, especially for a goalie. Especially for a goalie to help organize the defense and all that part.
Yeah, they could be paying for leadership as well as the fancy billboard.
That just seems like they're overpaying for that, considering they just were in a cup final. They just made the MLS Cup final this season. They lost it, yeah, but barely. I mean, I don't think going out and buying Hugo Lloris is going to fix what I saw, in the final. It wasn't the goalie that messed up.
I guess if they make it to the finals, then that's really the barometer, right? Because you're right, it's not worth it if they don't make it to the finals. So that's at this point,
they make it to the final, and Lloris saves it for him, and then I have to edit this in, and Chris just looking at me like I told you.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, at the same time, it might be kind of fun to say, you might get a little bit of starstruck or whatever. I mean, that guy has done quite a bit of things in a lot of big moments too.
Yeah, he was also in Champions League final. I mean, Hugo Lloris, Cup winner.
It reminds me a bit of, I don't know if you guys follow Wrexham at all, but first season they didn't get promoted. I'm sure most people who are listening to this are familiar with the Wrexham story, but second season, they signed Ben Foster, who's everyone knows Ben Foster, world-renowned keeper, and he was the difference. I mean, he really was. He made some huge, huge plays. So I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that move. I wonder if that's what they're modeling it after.
Maybe so.
How much did they pay him for a year?
I hope they fail. I don't know. Hopefully, it was a ton, and it's not worth it.
Seeing as they're probably going to be SDFC's rival, I hope it goes horribly wrong.
Me too. I would go south. But speaking of goalies in MLS, Zach Steffen from Man City's just signed for Colorado, the Rapids. So
nice.
How did you guys feel about Zach Steffen? He was the U.S.'s #1 goalie for it felt like a very short amount of time, maybe a year or something. And I felt like he had a couple great games and then made a couple big mistakes, and I haven't heard much from him since.
Yeah, I feel like he got a lot of good experience when he was at City, and in the short-ish time that we've seen him, I feel like he's done pretty well. I can't really think of anything where he's really screwed the pooch. He's definitely had like mistakes like any keeper will have, especially a young keeper. But I was always kind of a fan of him, to be honest. And I was just kind of hoping he would like take the step up to be the number one, and it just never seemed to pan out for whatever reason.
I think he was our number one, or I don't think, I know he was our number one for at least a couple of years, but he was always fighting injuries. And then eventually Matt Turner just took the job from him from tearing it up in one of the international cups. I think it was the Gold Cup. So he just kind of took over the job. I don't know. I hate seeing a guy go from Man City to Colorado. But I mean, if he gets playing time, it could be huge for his career and maybe makes a resurgence.
Yeah, I'll have to watch him at Colorado because I have no idea what I guess, so to say, what went wrong. But when you have Ederson in front of you, it's pretty hard to break into that one spot. I mean, he's arguably the best goalie in the world, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just sort of was an interesting thing, and I kind of forgot about some of the injury concerns. He was kind of beat up quite a bit off and on, wasn't he?
Didn't he like break his? Could be. I'm probably.
Either.
I thought he broke his hand or did something to a finger during a game and kept playing, but I'm probably thinking of stuff way back in the day.
Either way, I mean, it's cool to have two big keeper signings this year for the MLS. I mean, Hugo Lloris and Zach Steffen
It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just gonna say if SD, well, actually, this coming year I'll probably follow Colorado because they're like one of the more near teams. But if because I'll be prepping for when SDFC is like for the rest of my life will be who I'm cheering for. So maybe this coming year I'll just kind of be tuning into the Rapids a little bit and see what they're up to.
I'm pretty much going to watch all the teams to see who I want to hate the most.
Yeah.
Figure out who I like. Changing speed a little bit. Actually, no. We'll stick with MLS. Miles Robinson to Cincinnati. He came from Atlanta United, so that's MLS to MLS transfer. And Miles Robinson, center back, won the league with Atlanta. Atlanta was also a pretty new expansion team, and they started off really hot, won the league very quickly. And I wouldn't say tapered off, just didn't quite have that same success where they kept making finals right away, but he seemed to be amazing at Atlanta. Again, got 27 caps, played for our under-20s and 23 teams.
Another guy who I think had a pretty gnarly injury a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly, because he was a fixture in the U.S. men's national team, and I think he lost his spot when he got hurt. But he's always been super exciting. Not your like prototypical like big Jason Terry type defender. He's a little more slender, a little more pacey. So I don't know. I hope we see him in this upcoming international window. He got called up, so.
No, I love to see somebody that come back from injury and do well, because that's got to be tough as a professional athlete to be out for that long, and actually you literally lose a spot on your team. Like it takes some mental fortitude to come back from something like that. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, and then just keeping on with the U.S. players, Pulisic's been at AC Milan 17 matches. He has 6 goals and 5 assists, so that's 11 goal contributions in 17 matches for one of the best teams in Italy. That's pretty sweet.
See that run he had? It was just like, I forget who he assisted it to. He ended up getting the assist, but it was just like got it and just ran, and it was just a sweet run, made the perfect pass, and pretty easy finish for his mate. But he's on fire right now.
He really is, and I love watching AC Milan. I mean, they have a lot of ex-Chelsea players on their team: Tomori, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Callum Hudson-Odoi, all those guys. So it's been cool to watch him thrive and watch and Giroud, of course, Olivier Giroud, all those ex-Chelsea guys at the same time. I really like watching AC Milan right now. I like the way they play, and Pulisic just fits right in. It's really wonderful to see.
Just great. He's getting so much experience over there. To have a U.S. player like that play at Milan is great, especially with, next World Cup's not soon, but it's on the horizon. So, it's killer. I'm stoked for him. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just your laptop. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster.
Oh god, and it's oh god. 'Cause I'm like, I move when I talk. I'm sorry. It's like, whoa.
No, I mean he's turning out to be probably the biggest signing in Serie A in this offseason, which is pretty cool that it was an American. So
I love it. And then another American sign is here was Timothy Weah from Lille to Juventus, and he just scored a freaking amazing goal.
it's a banger.
I love Timothy Weah. I think he is like just talent-wise, like pure talent. Him and like Gio Reyna, I think are the two most talented people in the U.S. team at the moment.
Tell the people of SDFC land a little bit about Timothy Weah's father and his.
I do have that in my notes. So his dad is George Weah and played for AC Milan, who we were talking about with Christian Pulisic. He played for PSG as well. Won the Ballon d'Or in '95 or '96, something like that. Don't quote me exactly. I'll put the correct answer on the screen. But won the Ballon d'Or, was then president of Liberia, currently president of Liberia, and he raised his son in New York. Lucky for us.
Yeah,
Came through the U.S. National team, played for the youth academy for New York Red Bulls, and then just went to I think PSG's youth academy after that. And I think Timothy Weah is the bomb. Very excited that he's an American.
You don't even know.
yeah, I love Timothy Weah. Go ahead, Keegan.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, hearing that, like, he came through the Red Bull Academy and then went overseas makes me excited for, like, the whole Right to Dream stuff, too, for down the line. Like, if we start getting guys like that play really well, even if they don't play for us or do for a short period. But that's great to see that he was here and then goes overseas and now is playing so well, you know.
Oh, yeah, and it's amazing how, like, a Ballon d'Or winner feels comfortable enough having his son go through an American soccer academy. One thing on not so fun news, Gio Reyna's only played 8 matches out of 16 for Borussia Dortmund this season. He only American with 2 assists in a Champions League match. His dad was pretty amazing soccer player as well, Claudio Reyna. Played for Man City. It's an American, which is cool back in the day. But he is not getting the playing time. It feels like the Borussia Dortmund has had 2 different coaches the last 2 seasons, and both of them have been like an assistant coach that then became the head coach. That's happened twice now, and he just doesn't seem to be in favor with them. And I'm of the opinion that he should probably find somewhere else to go, which sucks because I feel like Borussia Dortmund does a good job at developing players who are younger. I mean, Jude Bellingham came from there. Pulisic came from there. So, they have Mats Hummels. There's a lot of players that came from there that are world class. So I would love to have him stay if he had minutes, but I don't think he's getting the minutes right now. And I think he's pretty good and too talented to be sitting on a bench.
I couldn't agree more, Nate. I mean, Erling Haaland, also Borussia Dortmund. They're just known for spitting out good players, but Gio Reyna has historically rubbed people the wrong way. It seems like the kid won't grow up. So, I mean, that could very well be why he's not getting playing time. He has all the talent in the world, but he's just a little bitch.
Yeah. His attitude, I don't know, but I just read an article from a couple weeks ago where he was getting into an on-field argument with Mats Hummels and stuff. So, maybe there is something to that. Maybe there's some growing up that needs to be done. A place like Borussia Dortmund where they've been in a Champions League final within the last 10 years or 15 years. Like they're no joke team. They're usually the second biggest team in Germany historically after Bayern Munich. So if you don't want to put the work in or you don't want to do the 100%, there's probably someone behind you that's going to do those things. Yeah.
It bums me out because if you have a kid who's young who has a lot of talent and it goes over there, but has kind of a chip on his shoulder, especially because he's on the national team, to blow it over that kind of sucks. But
Manchester City won another trophy, the Club World Cup, and afterwards Pep said that they'll remember it forever. Do you think he was being sarcastic? How do you guys feel about the Club World Cup?
I don't know. I didn't really watch it and think much of it because a lot of it was like just didn't seem like a lot of the. I mean, Man City, they've had a lot of injuries like KDB and stuff haven't been playing, but it's just between the rotation with the Premier League and everything else didn't seem to be like they were fielding the best team. And they obviously have like their bench is better than most Premier League starting squads, so that doesn't really matter. I honestly really didn't pay too much attention to it, so I guess it really wasn't high on my radar.
I mean, they do it at such a weird time because we watch MLS and English soccer, and then this tournament, the Club World Cup, is smack dab in the middle of Europe's top leagues, like right in the middle of it. It literally, there's a week where all the teams play, and then whoever's in the Club World Cup randomly has to fly thousands of miles to another country to play in this tournament. The timing is weird. It really, I don't know about this tournament in regards to how prestigious it is, and so I would lean towards Pep was being a little sarcastic when he said that. You guys want to hear a funny stat? Man U has scored 22 league goals this season. There's only 2 teams that have scored less, and those teams are in 19th and 20th place. Burnley and Sheffield United.
Yeah.
So it's January 7th, about halfway through the season. They've played probably around 18 matches. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
So that's almost a goal a game. Not great for such a historical club.
No, not great. And it's weird they're in like, 7th or 8th place, and they're in the bottom 3 for goals scored. They're the most boring team I've ever watched play right now. I don't know how anybody watches and enjoys it.
I don't know if it's the coach or what. They keep like McTominay's been there forever, and like there's all these people. I don't know. It's weird. I do not like watching them play.
They literally spent more than Chelsea, and that's what they look like. That's really bad.
Cue the womp womp womp.
They're like the Padres last season.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Spend a bunch of money and do nothing.
Or maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe the Man U luster's kind of rubbing off because Rooney's been sacked from Birmingham after like 15 games.
15 games. Probably. I don't know. I'm going to speak ill of Rooney, but
15 games.
I thought that was always weird that he even got an opportunity. He never really struck me as like. I mean, he'll probably get work elsewhere, but it was just sort of weird. I thought.
Do we have a donkey soundbite because Wayne Rooney looks like Shrek?
Was he somewhere before Birmingham?
What's that?
He was in somewhere. Did he coach in the MLS? I can't remember.
He did for DC United, and before that was Derby County.
Okay, so he's had a couple stints.
Yeah, he's had some experience. I don't know. I'm still like on the fence in regards. I think him as a player was one of the best I've ever seen, but I don't know about him as a
manager.
Still kind of up in the air.
Just some of the stuff that I've read, and then like just in interviews and things that I've seen of him, and as a player, oh my goodness! But it's tough being a manager though.
What's wild is he went to Derby and they got points deducted because of financial issues. Then he went to DC United, and now he's at Birmingham, who had issues and got sacked. So it's like, are you just going to problem places? Like, what are you? I don't know. His managerial career has been really interesting so far. Something I will keep an eye on.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I got some other just random. Argentina talked about retiring the number 10 jersey, which is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. That's a position. It's not. This isn't. Like, all right.
Nate, at first I was like, what do you mean that's dumb? It's messy, but you're right. It's very representative of a certain type of player / position.
Yeah.
In this
like,
sport,
it's not. It's never how they looked at those numbers for soccer, Like, it literally is like, yeah.
Did they retire Maradona, though?
No.
Wow. That's
No.
what I was going to say. If they did him, I could get why they did Messi, but...
That's why I would
like,
no way. That would be the most ridiculous I've ever heard in regards to soccer. Speaking of ridiculous shit, you guys ready for your quiz? Let's do this.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
We're just going to be editing this. All right.
Real good, real bad.
You guys, you know what? These are the answers right here. Pause it and read them. Okay.
Producer Trev, get ready. I'm going to ask you what all the answers are.
I did not give Trev. I have my own answer key. I'm letting Trev is in on this. Trev, you want to do this quiz too? I'll take that as a yes.
You know
All
who's
right.
in.
You fellas ready for the first question? We'll end this with a bang. All right. I know we
Wait,
started.
so let me get some clarity. Hold the phone. Hold it. Hold it. You wanted us to get a piece of paper and a pen. Does that mean you're going to, like, read them all, like, reveal
Yes.
all the answers at the very end?
I will reveal them at the very end.
Okay.
You guys
so not
have
one
to
by
score
one.
your own thing. You have to show the screen. Don't freaking cheat. You better not be looking down at your phones either.
Are these
I
like
don't-
multiple
I don't-
choice or something?
Oh no,
Probably
you need to know these.
Need to know it off the top of our dome, but so don't.
And not only that, what I'm going to do
Get
is
ready, I don't.
no, you guys seriously have to keep your scores because I'm going to have a document in the Google Drive and I'm going to keep track of. We'll make a cumulative list, and then at the end of the year, whoever has the best score wins a little prize. All right, ready for question one?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Who is the mayor of San Diego?
Oh, there's like I thought it was like soccer questions.
It is San Diego FC. Look at Keegan. Literally look at Keegan. Who's the mayor of his sweater?
Of course,
You know?
Keegan's like fucking Anon over here. The guy knows everything.
Yeah,
Dude,
the mayor. That's different than the governor.
I was gonna write Mr. San Diego.
All right,
God. I don't live in San Diego.
look. All right, next question.
I'm joking. All right.
What are the three main colors of the flag of San Diego?
Of San Diego County? Or
San Diego.
SDFC?
San Diego, the
City?
city. San Diego.
The three main colors of the flag.
We have a flag.
That was Julie's response to when I read her these test questions.
I got
See,
mine.
Three colors.
See, you guys are learning something. You're welcome. Each color is a point. So this quiz has more than 5 points available.
Ooh, it's complex.
Yeah.
I should have written these bigger.
Oh yeah.
All right. Did you guys guess three colors? So if you
Yeah.
guess one right, you get a point. All right. Which stadium has a larger capacity? Stamford Bridge or Petco Park?
Ooh.
That's a good question. I like that I got a 50-50 shot.
I can handle things. I'm smart.
All right.
All right. Question 4. There's 2 points available. What product is Snapdragon and who makes it? So SDFC plays at Snapdragon Stadium.
Does it have to be like specific or like
What product?
generic?
It can be
Probably.
generic. And what company makes it?
Okay.
The company part, it has to be specific. So like one company makes it.
Yeah, I just mean because I know like
Fucking no.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. What product is Snapdragon and who makes it?
all right, this is general. On the company though.
Oh, this is fun. I'm going to make more quizzes. Chris, you better not be looking at your phone.
I know. I feel like there's some shenanigans.
Phone's over here.
Good.
Yeah,
I
there's
have
two
my
screens. Oh,
Patches.
sweet patches.
Sweet angel. All right, last question.
answer. Roger.
What tribe is Saquon part of?
Oh, I know this one. But I don't.
I don't know how to spell it.
That's fine.
That's my issue. I
Bet
don't
you
want
the
to get
spelling
it.
is-
Spelling.
You don't have to worry about the spelling.
I think it's Saquon. Yeah, that must be. Man, these were way, dude. I love this quiz. You went down a whole different path than I thought.
I was hoping so.
I thought it was gonna be like who has the most saves in the MLS last season, like who won the 2002 World Cup.
I'll do that stuff, but I thought that the first episode, I'll keep it for topical stuff we talked about.
Yeah, that was really fun.
All right. Does anybody know the mayor of San Diego?
Todd Gloria?
Todd Gloria. Good job.
Am I right?
You're right.
I said Brown. I was Brown.
Brown was
Yeah, Governor Brown.
Brown was like
Mayor Brown.
I think 3 back. I think it was the Gloria, Falconer,
Falconer.
That one guy got fired.
the rapey dude. Yep. And
Yeah, the rapist. The rapist.
so the 3 colors of the flag of San Diego: red, white, and yellow.
Didn't get one color right.
I got red.
yellow.
There we go.
I did the same colors as the FC logo. I was like, all right, what colors are here?
Me too.
I got curious. That's why I looked that stuff up. Like I was curious if any of that was used or anything. But all right.
Yeah.
Number 3, Sanford Bridge, Petco Park. Petco Park has a bigger capacity.
Why? I haven't gotten one right.
You were setting me up with a Chelsea question, like, "Oh, it's gonna be Stamford Bridge." Dang it.
No. Number 4, there was two points available. What is Snapdragon? What did you know, Keegan?
Don't they make like browsers for your phone, like phone systems, IT stuff?
No, it is. It's a
Or
process.
like chips?
They're
That's what I was gonna put too. Fuck.
Yeah.
I put flash drives. Does that count?
No, it's a processor in particular, and Qualcomm makes them.
Oh,
I said Verizon.
I was gonna put Qualcomm, but I was like, no way, it's Qualcomm because it used to be Qualcomm Stadium.
That's what I was thinking.
But
Yeah.
Verizon, that's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I
What's
knew
that?
it was Qualcomm.
I answered Verizon. Aren't they like the same thing?
No, Verizon just provides phone services. They don't actually make anything. And then, what tribe is Saquon part of? Kumeyaay.
Yeah.
I didn't get that one. Did you get
Not
that
one, right?
Yeah.
I got 1 point.
I have my. You can read.
Trev, do you mind
Terrible
writing
handwriting.
yours real quick?
Mayor Brown did me in.
Mayor Brown.
You're still living when the Chargers were like.
Dude, I didn't.
That's so great. Oh, I love it.
Magellan.
Yeah, what was that with Jalon?
Mahina? I don't
Let me
know.
read my answer.
Mahina.
Better my answer. This is the 5th one. Native American tribe.
It is. I mean, technically, that's correct.
Half point.
7 points.
Yeah, half a point.
That was awesome,
man,
mate.
good
Real
time.
quick, big match this weekend or this Wednesday between Fulham, producer Trevor's favorite team, and Liverpool, Keegan's favorite team. So, you guys excited about it, Keegan?
Let's go.
Very excited. Yeah, it should be a fun match to watch.
The semifinal in the what cup is it? I don't know.
It's I forget.
A League Cup, as they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the EFL Cup semifinal first leg. Yeah.
So it should be fun.
That'll be cool.
This is Liverpool, and then they'll go back to Fulham too, I believe. So
Yeah, it's
72% probability to Liverpool, 10 to Fulham, but Fulham's dangerous, man. You never know. So I think it should, no matter what, it'll be a fun match to watch. So
be one of the biggest upsets in Fulham's history, I would imagine, if they were to pull this off and get to the final. I could be wrong, but
it would be very big. Yeah.
In recent history, I would say their biggest one is when they beat Juventus in the Europa League semis. But this will be up there with how Liverpool is in first place, and Liverpool has been so good the last literally like 5 or 6 seasons. That would be a pretty big upset. I'll bet on Fulham. I think they have a good chance. Probably better than a lot of people are giving them.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Agree.
It's fun. Middle of the week, it breaks the week up, which is always nice too. Something to look forward to. So
yeah. All right, then we will recap the first leg of that next time we record.
cool.
On that note, everyone, I'll see you next Sunday.
All right. Love you, boys.
cheers, boys.
Cheers.